I don't want to be too simplistic about this, but it really can be this simple. Changing these three things will essentially alleviate and help you to heal from acne. Hello souls, my name is Kathleen and I am a holistic skin therapist, and I'm also the owner of Soul Awakened Skin Therapies, which is a clinic based here in Glenelg, South Australia, and in my clinic I specialise in treating the skin condition acne. In today's video I am going to be talking about the three things you need to fix and rebalance in your skin in order to heal from acne. But before we get into today's video, I would like to say welcome back to returning clients, followers, and subscribers, and welcome if you're new. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And also, if you do have a question throughout this video, please feel welcome to pop it below. I do read your comments and I would absolutely be thrilled to help you in the comment section below. Alrighty, so a quick disclaimer before we get into today's topic, and that is that this video is intended to be used for educational purposes only, and it does not substitute you seeking medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you do want to speak to me personally about treating your skin and improving it, you are most welcome to inquire. I have left links down below. You can either come in to see me here in my clinic, or you can inquire about my online services as well. I would love to help you with your skin. So essentially, there are three main things that go wrong within the skin to cause acne. And I don't want to be too simplistic about this, but it really can be this simple. Changing these three things will essentially alleviate and help you to heal from acne. They are able to be changed both with internal and external interventions. So we're talking external is things like skincare, considering lifestyle factors, anything external that could be affecting your skin, and internal refers to anything internal, so your diet, your sleep, your stress, all of those things that kind of compound and affect your skin. So the whole goal of this video is to really explain what these three factors are and give you a bit of an understanding of why they've gone wrong and what you can do to start fixing them. Alrighty, so the first factor I want to talk to you about is your skin barrier, and more specifically when your skin barrier becomes impaired. To be quite honest, having an impaired skin barrier does lead to a whole host of different skin conditions, and having an impaired barrier does not equal acne, but it sometimes can. So essentially, this is the first thing I begin to start working on when I'm looking after my client's skin and helping them to overcome and heal from acne. So basically, your skin barrier, just to give you a really quick lesson, is essentially a film that is found on all of your skins, on the surface of your skin, and basically that is where all the microorganisms live, and they're meant to be living in perfect harmony, right? So these bacteria, just like in your gut, you have your good ones and your bad ones, and they do play a purpose and a function for your skin. But unfortunately, when things become imbalanced, so the pH is a little bit off and it's not in its ideal range, what you'll find is that the bacteria becomes imbalanced, and this is one of the aggravating factors for acne. And what we see in acne skins is that the C. acne bacteria becomes overgrown and it does too much within the hair follicles. Now, I'll get into that a little bit later, but essentially, your skin barrier also is like a protective layer, right? So it's got the microorganisms living there, but it also is there to be your first line of skin defense. So essentially, your skin barrier is making sure that the bad things don't come in and the good things don't go out. So we're talking dirt, debris, pollution, microorganisms. We don't want them coming into your skin, and we also don't want the water in your skin to be leaving your skin. So when the water begins to leave your skin, we actually call that fast trans epidermal water loss. I know it's a really long word, but basically that just means water is evaporating from your skin, and we need that water to stay in there because water serves a very important function for a lot of things going on in your skin. And without that water in your skin, you're going to start getting an impaired enzyme function, and you're going to start getting what we call incomplete corneocyte compaction. Now, without going into too much detail about what's happening there, when those two little factors have started to go wrong within your skin, you start to see cells clumping together and it's just not functioning optimally. So basically, to kind of sum that up, an impaired skin barrier is going to basically mean that the microorganisms have become imbalanced and the C. acne bacteria is going to overgrow and do its job a little bit too much. And then you're also going to see too many bad things coming in. So all of those things I listed before, and you're also going to see the water evaporating from your skin at a pretty fast rate, in turn causing incomplete corneocyte compaction and also impaired enzyme activity. So you're probably thinking, well, that's a lot of things to consider. How can I just fix my skin barrier? And I totally understand and get you. And that's what I help my clients with here in the clinic and online as well. But basically, the whole world is against us when it comes to our skin barrier. Everything is going to break it down, and it is our sole job to protect our skin, not only to prevent things like acne and skin conditions, but to also age gracefully. So there are a few things you can do to make sure your skin barrier is functioning at an optimum level. So there are so many things you can do to repair and heal your skin barrier, and I'm just going to list a couple, but honestly I could do a whole video on this topic and I intend on doing that in the future, so please stay tuned. But essentially you really want to consider your cleanser. Is it a stripping cleanser? Is it too harsh for your skin? You also want to consider exfoliation. Are you exfoliating a little bit too much for your skin? There are also internal factors, one being that you are deficient in essential fatty acids or omega-3s. That also contributes to a weakened skin barrier, among many other ingredients and other factors. So as you can see by now, your skin barrier function is really, really important, and we want to make sure it is functioning optimally and it's not impaired. And again, there are so many things you can do to repair it, but it does lead me to the second factor that does go wrong within your skin, and you need to fix and basically rebalance this in order to heal from acne, and that is you have a poor sebum quality. Now, let me break this down. Basically, your skin produces sebum. It's your skin's natural oil, basically, and it helps to form a good, strong, healthy skin barrier. You see, they're all linked. You'll really begin to learn that as you watch my videos and learn more about your skin. But basically, poor sebum quality means that it becomes an environment within the hair follicle where the blockages are actually happening, where the pimples are forming. You'll see that that poor sebum quality will lead to, remember me mentioning it before, the C. acne bacteria basically becoming overactive within that hair follicle. So in terms of the C. acne bacteria, it's actually their waste product, so the biofilms that they create, that is another aggravating factor of acne, but we won't go too much into it. But basically that is just one of the things that happens when you have a poor sebum quality. Probably the most profound thing that happens is that when you have a poor sebum quality, it becomes quite gluggy, kind of like cottage cheese. And because your hair follicle is such a thin and narrow passageway, when your sebum is gluggy and thick, it just gets blocked on the way up. And these blockages that are happening within your tiny thin hair shaft, so your follicle, they're basically what a breakout is. So we want to make sure that your sebum quality is of a good quality, so it's thin and viscous, so it can fit through that narrow passageway, and that will make it less likely for you to break out. It'll also make sure that the bacteria is also a little bit more imbalanced as well. So in order to change your sebum quality, you actually want to be doing a few things, both topically and internally. So when we're talking about topical interventions, there are certain ingredients that can actually change the sebum consistency, and internally, one of the main things you can do is make a few dietary changes. Yes, that's really, really important, so cutting down dairy and sugar. But in terms of an intervention, what you want to do is also start taking those good essential fatty acids, so your omega-3s that I mentioned just before, because what they will do is actually thin out that sebum and making it less likely that you'll break out and less likely that the bacteria will begin to overgrow. So far, we have talked about your skin barrier, and we've also talked about your sebum quality, and we're now going to talk about the third aggravating factor that you need to fix and improve in your skin, and that is what we call retention hyperkeratosis. Now, sounds like a really scary, crazy word, but basically that just means that you're getting skin kind of clogging the external of the hair follicle. And remember, your hair follicle is where the sebum comes out of, and that's already getting blocked because of bad sebum quality, so we're getting blockages on the way up, but we're also now getting blockages from the top through this retention hyperkeratosis, so kind of like excess skin, or not even excess skin, but skin clumping together. Now, incomplete corneocyte compaction and the poor enzyme quality also leads to this. That's what I mentioned right at the beginning of the video. But there are so many other factors that lead to this retention hyperkeratosis. And to just briefly summarize, we've got things like pore clogging ingredients or follicle clogging ingredients. We've also got excessive sweating or leaving sweat on your skin. We've got certain makeups that will clog your skin. Gosh, there are so many things that cause this, and so many things you can do to change it. But essentially, we don't want the follicle being blocked in the first place, because what that will do is create a plug on the follicle, and what you'll see then is a lack of oxygen in that follicle. And just as we were talking before, that lack of oxygen is also another thing that's going to cause that bacteria to overgrow and have a little field party in your skin, because bacteria, the C. acne bacteria, likes to thrive in an anaerobic environment. We call that a oxygen-free environment. So we want to make sure that the skin is turning over at a really good rate. So it's moving, it's desquamating at a good rate. That's essentially what your skin does. It creates a cell at the bottom of the epidermis and makes its way up to the top and then sheds off. And we also want to make sure that things aren't getting clogged up the top as well. So in order to remove and reduce retention hyperkeratosis, the first thing that comes to mind for so many people and therapists out there is to actually exfoliate. So taking off those top skin cells, because that's where the blockage is happening, right? But the thing is, exfoliating can also be really damaging, and just as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, over exfoliating is actually going to weaken your skin barrier, and therefore leading to other factors that are going to cause the retention hyperkeratosis in the first place. So there is a fine line when it comes to exfoliation and treating acne, and you definitely need to kind of find that golden balance, and that's what I help my clients with. And to be really brief about it, you really want to opt for gentle exfoliation. Now, one of the things that I use is an ingredient called salicylic acid. I'm sure you've heard of it. Salicylic acid is going to provide an anti-inflammatory effect, as well as reducing the retention hyperkeratosis at the surface, while also decongesting within the hair follicle. So it's an all-round amazing ingredient. However, there are so many other ingredients you can incorporate as well, and also some internal things that you can do. The main one that stands out is drinking a lot of water. That's going to also help to reduce the retention hyperkeratosis. So far in this video, you have learned about the 3 factors that essentially go wrong within your skin to create and exacerbate acne, and a couple of little tips on how you can improve them and remove them from your skin. But there are so many other things that you can be doing, and I'm actually going to be talking about these 3 factors in a little bit more detail in the upcoming weeks, and also talking in greater detail what the aggravating factors are. So please stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, please let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything else you'd like me to go into more detail about by popping your comment in the comments below. I've really enjoyed chatting with you today. I understand that treating acne can feel really complicated and sometimes overwhelming, and that's why I do recommend seeking professional advice, either speaking to a skin therapist who is specializing in treating acne, or going to a dermatologist and getting advice that way. So thank you so much for being here with me, souls. I'll see you here